The first thing any invader conqueror does is rape all the women.
Right.
I mean, that's what horses do.
Yep.
Horses will kick a pregnant horse's stomach to remove the fetus so they can impregnate her with their...
Well, we
I
see
mean,
that in
that's
Animal
how
Kingdom,
it
right?
goes.
And that's what the grizzly will come and do it. And he'll eat the cubs, and I mean that happens, right? But when President Trump was candidate Trump, he said that he was demonized for it because it was the fact, and people, it didn't go with the narrative. And now the same things that he's saying have played out now. And then there's a whole nother argument when people will say, oh, well, you know, Americans commit more crimes than the illegals that are here, or the migrants. Well, that's apples and rocks. Todd Benson talks about that in one of his articles about you can't compare.
Americans, they used to say that about men and women, and I was involved in all that for a million years. But the reason most women are in prison is because they wrote a bad check to feed their kids. Yeah. And with, you know, a lot of them are crazy and killed their kids too, or let their boyfriend kill them. But the common denominator is economic, except for psychopaths and perverts.
Yeah.
They get joy out of rape and murder.
Well, that's a control thing that they do for power. You know, you mentioned economics.
That's why Hitler unleashed his street gangs.
Well, we all
it was for terror.
Sure, because that's how you stroke fear, and then that's how you come to the government. We will protect you, and that goes back to creating the servants.
Right. That's so right, man.
You mentioned economics. That's a whole nother. And these are economic migrants, is what we call it. They're not asylum seekers. Very few of them are actually seeking asylum because they are. You know, they are coming here looking for work. They're looking for jobs. They may live in a rough neighborhood or have a bad life, but it doesn't meet the bar for asylum. They're not being persecuted for their race, religion, political affiliation, or their sexual orientation, or anything like that. It's they can't find a job, and they're coming over here because they're being promised a better life. And while we have our own people suffering here, so while I agree, we can still be that beacon of hope for those that are truly being persecuted and tortured around the world.
Yeah, we can help them go back home and overthrow that shit-ass government.
Absolutely.
Or grant them asylum if it's necessary. It's just
for that very small faction that
What is the percentage, in your opinion?
Well, I can tell you that the Barr was maybe 90% would not meet the asylum criteria. But they were allowing the initial credible fear claim. They were approving those, you know, at a 70%.
That's like when AOC says.
But somebody said a lot of the credible fear claim is because they're afraid of the United States in their country. It's like a double-edged crazy thing. Like, they oppose American intervention in their country, so they want to come to America. And a lot of them are angry.
And that's like reverse osmosis, right? It's something.
No,
I don't know.
It's street gangs to help terrorize the American people.
Well, yeah. I guess what I'm getting at is the people that are claiming fear, they don't really meet that criteria. But this administration has taken a very laxed, approach on that because that's a pull factor. They can say, hey, this becomes a lawful pathway if we allow them to come in here and claim this fear. It's just creating the chaos. You
think they're doing it to get them mass amnesties to be voters?
We already.
What about turning a red state purple? Is that?
Yeah, I think that goes back to
one of them.
Why would anybody allow this? No other country in the world is allowing this type of unlawful immigration, this illegal aliens to come in like this. No other country in the world is doing that. So again, to what we were talking about, why
country
would they?
In history has done
exactly
that.
Right. Why would they allow this unless there was that ulterior motive? And as I was mentioning when we were talking earlier, if they just told us that, at least we knew what the enemy was and how we were fighting it. That's why people were bashing.
How would you put it in plain English? If they were to tell us the truth, what would they say?
I would think they would say, we want to remain in power. We want to change red states to purple and purple to blue. We want to take blue states and blue areas and make it solid blue. That is because that's the only rational thought that I can make of this. I mean, I wish I was wrong, but I would rather go through life with two black eyes, seeing it come, than the knife in the back. That I think this is betrayal that is happening. For this
the knife in the back hurts.
I would add to that also cartels, money, kickbacks. human trafficking,
Yeah,
child
baby
trafficking.
blood drinking Democrat
Yeah,
donors.
it's not just, hey, we got new
They
voters.
are
It's
the
like, hey, we got
cartels.
a business import-export.
Yeah, Jake, you're right because
Always have.
The cartel is the president.
They're in line.
So when they actually, I think there was a study and your audience can do the research and correct me on it, but I remember reading something recently, at least in the last year or so, that the gross domestic product, the GDP of Mexico, from some of the like what the cartels were making off of human trafficking and smuggling was like 1 or 2 compared to the overall GDP of Mexico. Like,
No, it's number one business in the world.
do the math. I mean, if
Okay,
we just had,
let's talk math then. Jake, you've got to let me have a cigarette in here like you did the other day.
I can't.
You can. Go
You've
get
only
me a cigarette.
you've only recorded for 45 minutes. You can't go 45 minutes?
I can't. Go get me a cigarette because
I
I'm
can't.
about to go deep. Go do it.
No, I'm not.
Would you go get me a cigarette, baby?
Do you want to be in here when she's smoking?
He sure does.
I don't care. I sure
He's
do.
gone through hell and high
In fact,
water.
I'll have a cigarette with her.
Fuck yeah, bitch.
If you'll let me do that.
Yeah, Jake, do it. Would you go do it?
No, I
It's
can do
out
it.
on
Just
that
let me just.
I'll spray it like I got that Febreze.
Why do you think there's candles in here? She smoked the last episode, and I knew it's like the border. I let her smoke one time, and look what she's doing. She's over.
Okay, I'll give you a raise if you. I'm giving you a raise if you let.
Don't give me a raise. Just give me a percentage of the podcast.
I thought I already did. It's a big 0. We don't make any money. We got deregarded or something by the commies at YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Woo, that one. I'm going to say this. You know I'm a Jew, right?
Right.
Well, I'm a real Jew, right? And, well, they shouldn't be trying to fuck with a real Jew. I mean, for real, right?
Right.
What are they going around saying all this shit?
Yeah.
Jews control the world. They say it day in, day out. But they,
recording. I'll be right back.
I know,
Yeah.
but they don't think about that when they go, the Jews control everything, the media, the blah, blah, blibbity, blah. And, you know, even if they find one Jew at the bottom, they say it's a Jewish conspiracy. It's like 15 Islams and 45 Christians, but one Jew at the bottom. It's a Jewish conspiracy, what have you. But it's like this. If they was afraid that Jews was in control of the world and this and that and the other, why did they keep fucking pissing me off?
Yeah, there you
I
go.
can pick up, if that is true,
Yeah.
I'll pick up the motherfucking phone right now and end this whole charade.
Yeah. You know,
Why do they want to piss off people who have nuclear weapons is my question.
it makes no sense, right? Why would they do that? You know, and you know, all in all seriousness, you look at what just happened in Israel. I mean, and you see what's
I know what really happened.
what's going on in the Ukraine. You see what China is threatening Taiwan.
China is in Israel.
Yeah, well, they're everywhere. While we're arguing pronouns,
Biden brought them there with Obama. They brought China right to the Middle East.
when we're arguing
Through
pronouns and we're arguing and attacking parents, China has been capacity building around the world, doing everything that the United States had been regarded as the peacekeeper, and China is doing that
with our technology that they stole from us.
absolutely. And you've had the FBI director testify no less than 4 times in the last year about the threats going on around the world and all the bells and whistles that he's hearing. Yet we still have an administration and a president that is refusing to take the border serious, that is not turning people away at the border, that was pushing a Senate bill that had no teeth to it. Yet you have a senator, the Senate majority leader, who refused to look at the House Republican bill that was a border security bill. Yet they just complain and they do nothing. And
Where's
again,
the
it's all
six?
about trade-offs.
Oh. It's not about trade-offs. It's about blackmail.
No. That's the
They own them
that's
people.
Blackmail is
It's
a bad word.
chessboard.
Trade-off's a better word,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
That's how they'll say it.
You're right.
Yeah.
Or what do they say? What was
Quid
that?
pro quo.
Quid pro quo. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what it is, right? And that's, you know, it really makes you again pause and think. And I hope people, as they go to their elections this year, that they pause and think and
There
say,
ain't gonna
what
be
in
no
the
election.
heck is really going on? You know,
Can I ask you one question real
Yeah.
quick?
They're going to find out when there's no election. But
The
go ahead,
Chinese
Jake.
nationals change in numbers, right? You said it was like from 700 to 10.
hundreds and then thousands.
When did that number spike? That was during Biden?
Yeah, 23 and 24. Fiscal
So
year 23.
2 years in?
Yeah, the last 18
3.
months. So we're halfway through fiscal year 24.
Okay.
And all of 23 was around 24,500, and
So
now we've already exceeded that.
Just paint a picture. Trump builds a secure border, is tough on China with tariffs, loses an election, and Biden comes in, has a history of kicking money back from China through his son, taking 10% off the top, allegedly. And then within 2 or 3 years, the Chinese nationals that are illegally crossing the border, military-age men,
in mass, like we've never
goes
seen
up
before.
500%, 1,000%.
I think that's 5,000. How do you 450 to
5,000%. So that's really telling.
yeah, 450 to
police force.
25,000.
So to answer
whatever.
your question, why would a president do this? He's obviously, I mean, I think it's pretty clear he's an asset.
Yeah, well, even like I said, even if
It's
only
even
1%
worse than
of that
that, though.
25,000 were bad, and the other 99% were finally, hey, I'm free from communist China. That's still 1%. That's still a lot of people that could do this damage, right?
So you see.